And we're live.
With Paranormal Spirits, a place we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night. And I get to do that with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. To my left, my delicious wife, Alyssa Black.
Delicious again?
Always.
Thank you. Hello.
Across the table from me, I have the delicious, handsome, talented.
Are you hungry?
No, I just thought it'd be funny to say, call John delicious. Handsome and talented John Burkett.
You wouldn't know. I mean,
I've never tasted you, no.
That went in a place I don't even want to think about.
tastes like chicken.
Lord.
Actually, pork, but
Is that what it tastes like?
allegedly that's what human flesh is closer to.
Oh,
pork.
yeah, long pig.
Gross.
Long pig, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess what we're talking about tonight would have a good idea of what human flesh tastes like, because we're talking about, and we've mentioned it several times through different podcasts, we've talked about dogmen, and that we felt like that maybe we were leaning towards, maybe it's something that's supernatural. I'm not sure anymore. I'm even more confused, I think. So this show is about spirits, and we start off every night that we record with spirits. So I'm going to pass this around.
Spurts.
So I'm going to give one to John because Alyssa wants to make fun of the way I say spirits.
No, there's just
Spurts.
some time where you say spirits really quick and it comes out spurts.
It comes out in spurts.
Okay, so while Alyssa's being a jerk over here,
Also comes
I'm going to
out
tell you some
in
of the
space.
places that you can find us, and on the web, and you can find us at paranormal-spirits.com, and that's kind of our web. Well, that is our website. It's kind of a landing page for everything else. We have Boozy's Boutique there. You can link to that, and that's our swag store where you can get these cool mugs and racerback tees and Boozy's koozies to cover your adult beverages. And there's like water bottles and all kinds of cool stuff there. Also, you can find us on YouTube at 3B Paranormal Spirits. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, or X, previously known as Twitter, at paranormal_dash, and that's spelled out DASH _spirits.
How long do you think it'll be before you don't feel the need to say
Formerly known as.
Formerly
Twitter?
known as, I don't know, Prince.
Prince
kept
never
up-
lost it.
Yeah, Prince
May he
kept the
rest in
whole-
peace.
And do you tweet now or do you X?
Good question. I don't know. That's a very good question.
We'll have to ask Elon next time.
Or do you owe?
Next time we have Elon over in the backyard for
Did you
cordials
see
and
the offer he made to
hot dogs.
Wikipedia? You know, because they're always, donate $3, right? He said that, and he meant it. He would give him $1 billion if they would change the name to Dickopedia.
He's a nut. He really
And
is.
you know he'd do it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's pocket change.
I'll
for
change
him.
my name to Dickopedia. You give me $1 billion. I would definitely change my website's name.
Right. So let's start off the night like we always do with a little BOOZE. John, tell us about what we're drinking tonight. What are we drinking?
Lalo Tequila
So
Blanco.
excited about this tequila.
It's pretty. I've had it before.
We all have, let's be honest.
It's delicious.
But this is a
It's a Blanco. It's really good. It just tastes like agave to me, but they say, I'm not even going to tell you
okay.
until after. Then you'll be like, what?
Okay, I get a little nose that's like agave and just a hint of orange.
You don't smell the sweet potato, cinnamon, and dulce de leche?
No, I do not.
You don't smell yams in your glass?
None of the above do I
None
smell,
of those,
John.
No. I smell agave.
Me either. But it says here that smell the top notes of cooked agave, sweet potato, cinnamon, and a hint of dulce de leche.
You know what I smell? I smell bullshit.
Some bullshit.
I smell somebody that got a degree in marketing and wrote that out. That's what I smell.
They got a random smell generator.
Yep.
You definitely smell that agave. I'll tell you that, though. That is not a lie.
The agave is definitely present.
Mm-hmm.
Good legs. All right.
Cilantro.
Now sip and experience the taste of those aromas, it says. Do you taste the sweet potatoes? Taste the yam in there?
No, I don't
Neither.
I don't taste Thanksgiving dinner, but I do taste some great tequila.
Then it says sip again and notice citrus and tropical fruit notes.
One more sip. Let me try that.
Nope, still tastes like agave. They're very bossy. They're
very bossy.
They tell you to look at the crystal clear color, feel the viscosity and the quality of the liquid, and then smell. And then it tells you on the side of the bottle how to drink it.
Yeah, that's
Tells you that.
kind of presumptuous on them.
Yeah.
On their part.
Inhale, sip, exhale.
So what was the price point for y'all that y'all spent on this?
That bottle I bought was about $45.
I was going to say it's like 41,
Yeah,
45, something there. Low 40s.
It says $50 on their website, but it's not that expensive.
Yeah, it looks like it's around $42.99.
Yep, there you go. That sounds about right.
That's most of the places. So it's definitely affordable. It is so good, and it is smooth.
It's really good.
I don't get all that.
The yams, you don't get the.
I don't get all that.
You don't get the green bean casserole
and the tropical
sauce.
fruit.
I was looking for some yeast rolls and butter too, but didn't get any of that.
But I did green bean casserole.
some cornbread dressing.
Yeah, nope, no turkey, no ham, none of that. Nope, but I did get some agave. But it's smooth, it doesn't burn. Great sipping tequila.
Thumbs up.
Oh, I get dressing next Thursday.
Yeah.
We all do here in the South if you know how to eat.
But in the North, they have that weird stuff with sage in it and stuff. Here,
well, they use regular bread. It's not cornbread. It's regular bread. I don't know because it's nasty. Well, it's soggy, and if that's what you're used to, I guess what you're used to. Because some people here are like, "Oh, soggy cornbread. Yeah, it's the best thing ever."
We have
that's why they make stovetop.
My great grandmother's cornbread, chicken and dressing.
Oh, you get chicken?
It's in the.
Right. Yes.
In the dressing.
We
and then the turkey is a separate thing.
So your family is a turkey?
We have a turkey and then a big old pan of chicken and dressing.
Do you ham? Do you do
Sometimes
turkey and ham?
We do ham. We do turkey and ham.
Usually.
Some days we don't even have turkey, but most of the time we always have ham. But part of that is because I have an aunt allergic to poultry. Yeah.
Like chicken too?
Yeah.
Well, how you get the chicken?
Eggs.
The chicken stock in the dressing.
Bullshit.
Yeah, no. So she used to get a pork dressing that had ham in it and no chicken, anything in it. So she had her own dressing that had ham and ham juice.
Yeah,
sounds like. But I have her egg allergy.
Yeah,
but not chicken allergy.
Poultry.
Oh, yeah.
As a whole.
I mean,
no
it is
duck,
a thing.
No goose.
Nothing feathered.
But if you pick something weird to be allergic to, she's gonna have it. I mean, it's just she's different.
So it's turkey and the traditional stuff on Thanksgiving, but then Christmas,
the ham,
tamale time.
Oh, that's right. Y'all do tamales.
Y'all do tamales, yeah.
Tamales, yeah.
I forgot.
So yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard that does that, which I think is cool. Especially if you try different tamale places.
Very common in Texas.
It is very common. I think it's neat.
Tamales and sometimes brisket. I've gone to guy you get a pound or we used to get a couple pounds. We can't afford it anymore from Stanley's. Brisket tacos and tamales at Christmas.
So do y'all do Greenberg turkey? She doesn't like it.
There's
too much smoke.
It's very strong smell.
I like it. I like Greenberg.
I used to really like it, but sometimes we'll get a smoked one. Sometimes you used to be able to get roasted breasts from Traditions, but they closed. So
see, Greenberg's one of those though. You set the bird inside the house, and all of a sudden you walk in, and it's like, who has a campfire going? Because that's what it smells like.
It's not so bad in the house, But in your car, getting it
Oh,
from
yeah.
Greenberg home,
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
it
yeah.
won't come out.
you got to
for a
put it in
while.
the back of the truck. You got to put it in the bed of the truck. So
If
because
you
that
got
smell
one.
ain't coming out.
No, it's not. And not.
Yeah, it is strong.
But I found I kind of like a roasted. I don't care about the legs and all that. I just want
The breast.
The breast roasted so it's nice and juicy and moist. But I'm fine with the smoked, whatever. Greenberg is too strong though.
There's nothing like a good moist turkey breast.
You're a dick.
What? Oh,
Both of
you don't
y'all
like
I didn't
that
even think
word.
about. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
A juicy wet breast,
Not dry.
See that doesn't even sound good.
No,
does it?
just there's a word for not dry. It's called
Yeah,
moist.
it's moist.
And then we have giblet gravy too.
Yeah, we do too.
And then
You know, though, I can pass on turkey. I don't have to have it.
You know
I
what
do it out of
do?
obligation because it feels obligatory. But
I want as far as my whole meal for Thanksgiving, as long as I've got dressing and I've got giblet gravy and I've got cranberry.
is it giblet or griblet?
We always call it giblet.
we say giblet.
I think it's giblet.
Well, you
No,
would
I
tell
say giblet. No, I think my great grandmother said giblet.
And testing
See-
gravy. And
See, you're one of those
Awful.
people. You're one of those people like I met when I started school, and that made fun of me for saying okra.
I didn't make fun of you ever for that. I looked
No,
at you
I
funny
said-
when you first time you
I
said it.
you're one of those. You're like one of those people that used to make fun of me for saying okra.
It
Because
is-
my grandmother called it okra, so when I went to school and I saw that they had okra up there, I asked for okra. Everybody laughed at me, and I was so stupid because I didn't call it okra. You know,
I mean,
giblet,
I think that it's
okra,
interchangeable.
tomato.
I'm with you though. The dressing is the most important part. I
With
like
the
to
good
have
dressing,
turkey
with the good gravy.
later on for sandwiches, but
Oh, I need cranberry sauce too.
Oh,
Not
cranberry.
whole.
She doesn't like the whole cranberry.
like the
chunky
jelly.
kind. She likes the jelly.
I can take or leave either one.
Oh, I love it.
I love both of them.
I love it.
Dressing is the cornbread dressing. That is the most important part. Of it.
It is. But you know,
And the edges of the pan too. I get it from the corners, so I get that nice.
That nice crunch on the outside.
we do cheese. Our family does cheese grits.
Interesting. Never heard that.
It's like they're garlic cheese grits, and they're so good. And then you got to have some green bean casserole
Yeah.
because that's just like obligatory once again here in the South. Sweet potato casserole. My sister makes it. It's actually really good. Marshmallows. Love that.
Oh, like
brown
the
sugar and
sweet
pecans.
potatoes with the
Yeah.
Well, it's got to have the
marshmallows.
fattening sweet stuff on it. Like
So
if
if
it's,
if
you know,
you
brown
can't
sugar and
tell-
pecans, that's fine.
We always
You
have
can't-
mashed potatoes, just regular mashed potatoes.
We do now, but we didn't when it's just my little family.
By the time you actually hear this, it'll probably be after Thanksgiving. So if you can't tell, it's like Thanksgiving is right around the corner. For
It's
us.
next week. It's a
So,
week from today.
It's like it's in our mind.
But the dressing that we have, this was my great grandmother, the same recipe my great grandmother made, my grandmother made, my aunt does it now. And it probably my great great grandmother, it's just been passed down.
Yeah.
For
Luckily,
a
I was
century at least.
blessed to have my great grandmother until I was 33 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so,
crazy,
yeah,
huh?
like my dad was, you know, let's see, that was 5 years ago, my dad. So, you know, he was 58 when his grandmother died, which is crazy. So, like, so we had 5 generations because, like, my child knew her great great grandmother. So,
My child knew her great grandmother. I mean, Mara did, yeah.
great great.
My grandmother, not my
Yeah.
great great grandmother died like in
Yeah.
1980.
Adeline remembers, like, Adeline was 3 when her great great grandmother died.
Yeah, I didn't. Did I have a great?
Because she died 99 and a half. So we learned the dressing recipe. Like, that was one thing we did the last 2 Thanksgivings. Because when you hit about 97, you're like, well, I'm not sure how many you got.
My great grandmother was born in the 1800s.
She was born 1919.
My grandfather was born in 1899 or 96. I forget. One of those.
My grandpa was born in 1913. So
The one my great aunt was born in 1901.
I think
So I
my
knew
great
her
grandmother
for
was
a
born
long
in the
time.
1880s, I believe.
But there we go about our differences in age there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyway,
Well, so anyway, by the Lalo, what
Now
do
I'm
we?
hungry.
Yeah, let's.
We've talked about Thanksgiving and we've talked about booze. So
What's our story?
we are talking about Dogmen tonight.
Ooh.
And yeah, nice wolf howl there.
but they never look like bagels or
No, they always
Chihuahuas.
look like wolves, but they call them dogmen. And so for the difference between a werewolf and a dogman. So a werewolf is something that changes shape, or a human that changes into a wolf or wolf-like creature.
A lycanthrope.
Yes, it changes into a wolf-like creature, whereas a dogman is an anthropomorphic dog or wolf. It doesn't change shape; it stays that.
You know, nobody'd be scared of it if it was like just a walk. Well, we might be scared of it, but if it was a walking like a
Yeah, if it's a lab or
golden
something.
doodle,
Golden doodle, yeah.
like a bipedal golden doodle.
Okay, but the problem is the what I've heard about the dogmen, everything that I've read and seen, these things are like 7 to 12 feet tall.
12, damn.
Yeah, 7 to 12 feet tall. They have extremely long arms.
Hairy.
They are hairy. They
Pointed ears and long snout is everything that I saw.
bipedal. They have
Can-
huge.
They can run on all fours, though.
They can, but they are bipedal, and they have glowing red eyes a lot of times. That's what I hear. Which we know that wolves and dogs and they don't have glowing red eyes.
No, they have eye shine, but it ain't
They have
red.
eye shine, but I'm talking about this. The ones that I've heard, it's like the light is emanating from out of them. It's like almost like a supernatural type thing, rather than a physical being
Bullshit.
or bullshit.
And we've already touched on one before, the Beast of Bray Road out of Wisconsin.
Beast of Bray Road, which is probably, I would think it was a dog man. I mean, from all the descriptions I've heard of it, and so we talked about that, and and then the Beast of Bray Road. I don't know, man. That's one of those that it's hard for me to just discount that because there were so many people.
There was a spate of sightings in the late
There was
80s and early 90s.
We just learned that spate.
There was a spate of sightings in the late 80s, early 90s, but as far back as 1938.
Yeah, but that was just the one guy, the watchman at
Right.
the church or whatever, school, that they're digging in the mountain.
But the Indians, the American, the indigenous people here in the in America, used to see these dogmen. They talked about them. They also talked about skinwalkers, and
which description sounds like a dog man.
it does, doesn't it?
But really kind of falls into more of a werewolf, because this would be a person who, through some sort of ritual magic thing, turns themselves into an animal, or physically transforms through a ritual.
So, and we talked about some of the origins of where it could have come from, as far as the mythos and all that. And it was was it Shawnee tribe that the Fox tribe. I'm sorry, Fox tribe had the two brothers, and they had been transformed into this wolf creature, and then kind of disappeared from history. But the American Indians, indigenous people, I'm not sure of what the proper terminology is.
In the United States, we normally say Native American.
Native American.
In Canada, they say First Nations.
Okay, so whatever we're going to call it. Because I truly don't want to offend anyone, but because
Columbus thought he was landing in India. That's why.
Right, and I realize this, but between these different tribes, they kept talking about these things and seeing these larger than normal wolves and that kind of stuff, and so legend passed from father to son to so on. And there is also another legend that says that this was a shape-shifting shaman that had done some very bad things, and was chased down by members of his own tribe and killed while he was in wolf form. And when
Beast mode. Beast mode.
When he was in when he was in beast mode.
Where did this happen? Where is this legend from?
This one, Kentucky, in that area, Tennessee, Kentucky. But the shaman was chased down. He was killed by his own tribe, members of his own tribe, and he was in beast mode, or as an animal at that time. And when they killed him, he cursed them, and he said, "I'll come back and haunt this land for now."
Kentucky Cherokee.
I'd be lying. I'd be lying. I don't know. So there's a lot of different places where the origin myths are.
The ones that I found all tended to be Michigan, Wisconsin.
Oh, there's a whole Dogman Triangle in Texas, too.
Well, yes, I know. I've heard that. But like when you just decide to like Google randomly, just like Dogman sightings, predominantly Michigan for sure, Wisconsin and Minnesota, which is interesting because it's all right there, middle of Midwest United States by the Great Lakes. That's where.
But there's also a lot of stuff in the LBJ, the LBL, whatever, the Land Between the Lakes of Kentucky, Tennessee, and then a lot in the Daniel Boone in Kentucky. Yeah, the Daniel Boone National Forest.
The Bray Road is
Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Elkhorn, which is Walworth County, and that's in Wisconsin.
Right.
So it's up in that area. But yeah, the Land Between the Lakes,
and the Daniel Boone National Forest, and
the Dogman Triangle.
Hot spot in like Pennsylvania, Ohio borderland. It's called the Shemishi I can't remember. But anyway, there's a large forest there. These are also, at least the Daniel Boone and the LBL and that area in Ohio, Pennsylvania, also high concentration of Bigfoot sightings though too. So
yeah, I actually was I really got interested when we were looking at the Dogman stuff over the LBL. Supposedly, I could not find any documentation to this. Supposedly, there were 4 people that were slaughtered in LBL back in late 70s, 78 to around the early 80s, and everything is very vague and it's been handed down, that kind of story. And I think what it is, it's one of those stories that started off as a good campfire story, and it's been told so many times that it's become true. But I don't think I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any documentation to say this is a true story.
Well, I was watching Hellbent Hollers podcast. Shout out to Hellbent Holler. Do some good stuff. But they were talking about recent. This was pretty recent. When they were in the LBL on one of their, I don't know if you call it a dogman, your expedition. You're there in the daylight, but
right.
And they had mentioned that there was a recent situation where a woman was attacked, her dog was killed, and authorities shot the thing, but still escaped into the park. And that since that had happened, sections of the park had been closed off for alleged hog eradication. So they went.
So they're making it a conspiracy
I don't know,
type thing.
But they went walking around in some of these closed off many places in the park that had been open previously were closed off as allegedly authorities searched for the Dogman. I don't know.
Okay, so we keep throwing out LBL, and it actually stands for
Land Between the Lakes.
Land Between the Lakes, and so this is some of the research that I did on, but it's a national recreation area in western Kentucky that also actually it runs down into Tennessee, and it's called the Land Between the Lakes. And it used to be land between the rivers, and they dammed them, and they ended up not cursed them, but placed dams in these rivers so that they created lakes.
Right, and allegedly created lakes over cemeteries.
Oh no, that's not allegedly. They did.
And there's the same thing in that area in Pennsylvania and Ohio is also an artificially created lake where they flooded over cemeteries.
Yeah. And so it's situated between Kentucky and Barkley Lakes. It consists of about 300 miles of shoreline, 170,000 acres of forest, and over 200 miles of walking trails. So there is approximately in that area every year about $600 million in tourism, which I was surprised. I guess, can you rent out that many campsites? But so anyway, evidently that's a big deal. And prior to 59, before Kentucky and Lake Barkley dams were constructed, it was before officially called LBL in 63 by President John F. Kennedy, and before TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, used its power of eminent domain to buy and tear down all the houses, businesses, and community buildings throughout the entire area, forcing over 700 families to give up their homes, took over the land, and the area became between the rivers. And then later, after the dams were in, then it became land between the lakes. There are over 228 small cemeteries, many forgotten and lost, that scattered throughout this area. And some of the settlers' graves date back to the early 1700s. And this would include graves of white settlers, veterans from nearly every war, including the Revolutionary War, black slave, Chinese immigrants that worked the iron furnaces in the area. Also, there was a very high infant mortality rate during this time and during that area because, and these mothers, in attempting to grieve, would have these babies buried just outside, someplace outside the house and not in the cemetery, something just like right there so they could see the grave. You know, they said that was a common practice back then. I didn't realize that. You ever heard that?
No, I have not.
Yeah, that's
like they used to be able to have, if you had land and stuff, you would have a family cemetery.
Yeah, a family plot.
Now that is no. The authorities do not allow that anymore.
Right. But anyway, so the old timers used to talk about this thing that would roam the woods there, and this is before they ran them out and everything. And they would talk about this thing. He was at minimum 7 foot tall, in between 7 and 12 foot. A lot of different varying descriptions on height. But they called it a wolf man. That's what they called it. And when it walked and they saw the tracks of it, the tracks looked like a man's foot on the back side of the track, like where the heel is, but the front part of the track looked like a wolf paw. So it's not a wolf, not a man, you know, but
a wolf man.
Somewhere in between. And so anyway, there's legends about how it all began, and one was the shaman that was chased down in wolf form or in animal form, and then they killed him. He cursed him. Another one was that this guy came over from I believe it was Germany, and he was sick. He was diseased, and which this disease caused madness, among other things. But he and his wife lived off away from everybody, even their kids, and they never would associate with anybody, didn't, join into the community. The community kind of exiled them because they had this disease and they were crazy and wild. And so anyway, when last time that anybody went out there, there's nobody in the house and everybody's gone. And, they could have moved off or whatever, but the belief is that this disease caused them, they would go crazy at sunset, and so that's where the wolf came from, But these people, they would hear this thing howling and growling out in the woods, and they said it was like, it's not like a wolf or a bear or something like that. They don't have bears there.
They don't have black bear?
No.
They do in the rest of Kentucky.
It's not in that area. There are bears in Kentucky, yes, but it's further over. So as they're they're hearing this at night. It got to where they would bring their livestock, their prize livestock, into the barn, into the house sometimes to protect them, because they would find their animals just ripped apart by this thing. And I don't mean just like bites and slashes. This thing literally, whatever it was ripping apart. And said it was no wolf, it wasn't a coyote or something like that. But anyway, that's where the land between the lakes, and there's lots and lots of stories there. And as she pointed out earlier, up in Wisconsin, and
there's also the Palmyra, Maine story.
Wait, that's the Pennsylvania area, isn't it?
No, this is Maine. This is Maine.
Oh, Maine.
Maine, Palmyra, Maine.
And so one of the stories that came out of this area that I referred to earlier was back in the late 70s, early 80s. There was as the story's relayed, this girl's working in a convenience store, and two cops that she knows that work nights, and they came into the convenience store one night, and there's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Said they're white as sheets. One of them doesn't come in. One of them just stays out by the car. They gas up, and he's just sitting there on the curb with his hands in his face in his hands. He's just leaning over. And the other one comes in, doesn't hardly speak. And these are guys that, they're jovial. They know her. They talk all the time. But when they come in this night, it's different, she says. And so anyway, they finally start talking about what they had seen. They got called out to the National Recreation Area in between the lakes. Mm-hmm. And they get out there, and there's already 2 coroner vehicles there, police cars from different counties surrounding this. State police is there. And what had happened, 2 campers had come up on this campsite, and it was just chaos, and everything's torn up. There's blood everywhere. And they're like, well, we're not staying here, so let's go. So they drove north to the only town in that area and told the police there what they had seen. They got a hotel and stayed there. Cops come out and they find this carnage, And when they get there, it's pieces of people. It's a man, a woman, and their son. So they find 3 bodies at this campsite. It's just literally torn to pieces. They go in and they search through the camper. And so when they're searching through the camper, one of the cops comes out and says, "Hey, we got a problem." And they said, "What's the deal?" And he says, "I found clothes for the dad, the son, the mom, but I also found clothes for a little girl. It looks like she's probably 6, 7, 8 years old, So not too long after that, they're out searching for the little girl, and they start hearing this screaming, and it's a grown man screaming, and so they start out that way. When they get there and they find it's one of the cops who was searching, they get to him and they find him, and he's standing there with blood on his face, on his shirt, and he's just freaking out, And they realize that he's just standing there screaming like he's lost his mind, right? This blood is dripping down on him, and it's still dripping when they get there. So they all take their lights and they shine it up in the tree. And this little girl was up in the tree and literally laid out on her back across one of the limbs. And the first thing they came across, they could see her hand hanging down like this. And when they recovered her, it was basically whatever had gotten hold of her had completely just basically disemboweled her and was like just
eating the soft parts,
the good parts, the liver, the heart, And so anyway, one of the cops that the blood was dripping on and was screaming was the one that stayed outside when they at the convenience store.
Still covered in.
Well, he had washed off, but still. So some of the things that happened with this, and this is the story. I can't find any documentation, but everybody says, "Oh, this is real." So they found the dad's arm at the campsite, and it was clutching this blackish, grayish hair that was an unidentified species of wolf. Canis something. So
they didn't have DNA back then, so all they could do was narrow it down to wolf. You can't say it's unidentified.
Well, they didn't know what kind of wolf. So, but the problem was the corners that are there ended up being 3 corners on site. And the problem was that they didn't have, when they were checking the bite marks, they said, everybody's going, "Oh, this is a bear. Bear did this. Bear did it."
The black bear didn't do that.
Except that the bite marks didn't match up with what a bear bite would have been. And this thing where it had ripped its claws across their body and just filleted them, said the claw marks were wider than what a bear would have been.
Well, a black bear wouldn't do that. Grizzly bear might.
Right. And there's no
grizzly bears in Kentucky or Tennessee or anywhere that part of the country. Nowhere east of Colorado.
Like I say, this is one of those stories been told over and over and over and over and over, and now it's true.
And even a 300-pound, like a big black bear, is not going to be able to do that.
So anyway,
you don't think it's real? The way that you say that makes it sound like
I can't find anything.
Well, this story just like
but they keep alluding to this cover up, because of all the money.
When they mentioned the recent thing where the authorities were shutting down, I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can find anything about this on Google or anything. No.
Yeah, see,
nothing.
That makes me not.
No trace.
So there's this big conspiracy because there's all this tourist money they're going to lose, and
yeah, but it goes deeper than that. You look at the Texas ones, like it. Oh, it's a government cover up. There's the helicopters again. Or the ones in the Daniel Boone. Oh, look, there's the helicopters
again. How many people have to be involved for a conspiracy like that? You're talking all the law enforcement officers that were on site, the coroners, so the federal government comes in and says, "Hey, this is an experiment gone wrong. We were creating a super soldier, whatever." Yeah, I mean, this is something that you make horror flicks out of.
Right.
It's not... So, and we know that it just does not work that way.
Well, while
people can't keep their mouth shut.
It's like most of these stories are recent. Like, it's kind of gone viral. Like, in the age of the internet.
Right.
Like I mentioned, I said to you earlier, it's like Slender Man for adults, right?
Yeah, very, very well could be.
That they go out in the woods and look for.
Yeah, I don't...
It is biologically not like you could look at a Bigfoot and you say, okay, this makes evolutionary biological sense. But Dogman,
this is a Gigantopithecus that's hidden in a cave somewhere.
This is a devolved Neanderthal. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 upright bipedal hominids sitting in this room right now, so that's not.
So if we had Bigfoot, we'd have 4.
Right, and you could see the family resemblance,
right,
especially with you.
I feel like you just called me a name. I'm a bipedal upright hominid.
You are.
I know. I'm just saying when you say it, it's like, oh.
I mean, we came from common ancestry with the apes,
right?
And at some point, a couple million years ago, said, "Hey, we need to be able to look up above this grassland.
Yeah, we need to see over the grassland on the savannah
coming, right?
Right.
But dogs clearly didn't do that. Look at Winston, right? So, look at wolves.
Yeah,
they still run around on 4 legs, hundreds of thousands of years later,
and they will disembowel you.
They're quite.
No doubt, but they don't walk away.
Well, here's the thing. They don't have to be bipedal. They don't have to be. They're such an effective hunter, and
they're faster with 4 legs.
Yeah, they do what they do better with
They're the
4
reason
legs.
we evolved to stand up and be able to, so we can see things like them coming.
Exactly.
But it makes no sense. But the other thing besides them making no sense is there is no physical evidence. Nothing. And every photo, it's the alleged photo I've seen, is
garbage.
Clearly a Halloween mask from Spirit Halloween. Somebody's
garbage.
They're fake.
I have yet to see one where I go, oh, holy shit, that makes me wonder. Because they don't.
There's that famous one that kind of looks like a German Shepherd. It's clearly a taxidermied dog that they've posed out there too. I mean, obviously.
Right.
Well, and now it's so hard because of the day of the internet and how you can change anything. You can fake any UFO.
Okay.
You can fake any of that. So I mean,
way before AI and all that. And this is back when I was doing the ghost hunting stuff, and I took a ghost picture of her by layering.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they could do spirit photography in the 1890s.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to fake something, you know, and that was a good fake.
But
that's
a
really
good fake. Look at your Bigfoot. We have footprint casts. We have films. We have photographs from before there was the ability to manipulate. You've got your Patterson Gimlin, and you've got DNA now. I say, well, why is there unknown primate DNA out here in the woods in Washington? Why is it, there's a preponderance of evidence to suggest that there is that, but there is nothing except word of mouth.
And fakes.
Eyewitness accounts and fake pictures and fake videos on YouTube. And
now, if we could prove that werewolves were a real thing, then you could see the evolutionary process into a dogman. But the difference is that a werewolf can change. It's a shapeshifter. It can go back into a human.
Yeah,
as opposed to dogman is a dogman supposedly.
Yeah, and a dogman is an anthropomorphized.
If it was a real thing, then it would have to be something paranormal.
Right, exactly.
Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because science, or not science, but nature didn't do that.
And look how long it took us to get upright. I mean,
I don't know. If you
because
go all the way back to the little
is.
four-legged rodents, after the dinosaurs, hiding from dinosaurs, it's been, millions of years. But
yeah,
I don't know when Homo erectus exactly is, but we became upright a couple million years ago.
Yeah, a couple million years ago. Well, so
we've been in this form for now. They think they've moved it out to 300,000 years for
Homo erectus.
No,
or Homo sapiens.
Yeah. So
1.5 to 1.9 million years ago was Homo erectus.
Yeah. So
yeah,
here a couple million years ago when somebody said
Pleistocene,
and then from there you're jumping to us another 1.5 million-ish years before you get to Homo sapiens. There would be something in the fossil record of upright dogs. It just
there would be. I agree.
There's
Absolutely.
Plenty of things you could look at in the fossil record and say, okay, look how closely this ties to Bigfoot accounts. Look how but there's nothing.
Look how this hip on this wolf back here, 200,000 years ago
looks just like a wolf now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it was like changing so that it could walk upright.
Yeah.
So do we think it's supernatural? Like that's a thing? Because think about vampires; they don't technically exist. That's supernatural.
Okay, so
I
guess ways that it could be. Let's say that these things are dropped off from somewhere else,
like some
UFO
pan-dimensional thing, like a
pan-dimensional, maybe.
I mean, there's some Native American beliefs that these things are guardians of the spirit world. They can travel back and forth, but
maybe these are unruly.
Why are they always hanging around roads?
I don't know.
Yeah, and why are they in certain areas?
Why they always decide, hey, look at traffic. Let's see.
Yeah, so
traffic.
So you could say that they came through a portal. You could say that they were dropped off. Same thing with.
Damn, we could say that about anything.
With Bigfoot, I mean, you could say Bigfoot was dropped off.
Some people do believe that. I don't.
Well, here's what's really interesting about that, though, that those places where you see Bigfoot, and there's a lot of it, you have a lot of and have for years, there's been lots of UFO sightings and stuff.
There's
in
also
the same
been lots
areas.
of Dogmen sightings in some of those areas as well, which to me says that you might have some.
Who's
there's a large amount of or misidentified black bear. Then there's going to be misidentified Bigfoots or big feet.
Who's the guy? We decided on Bigfoot. Like deer.
Feet.
So same word plural as
right.
Okay.
So
like deer.
That was canonized a few episodes back.
That was, yes.
So, but who was the guy we listened to? He was the sheriff, and he was telling his Dogman story from the Land Between the Lakes.
Martin Grove.
Martin
Grove. Yeah, the guy with thousands of hours in counter-terrorist training and like in the 70s as a rural sheriff's deputy in Tennessee. You had counter-terrorist training.
Here's his thing.
Come on,
Martin
man.
Grove.
I listened to his account, his personal account. He gave it. Campfire story. He's sitting there and he's telling this story, and it's a really good story. And
was it?
I thought so.
I fell asleep like I really.
I thought it was a good story. Lots of texture to it. Up until the end, where Bigfoot and the Dogman were working together to get him, and I was like, "Man, I think you jumped the shark that part."
I think he jumped the shark with all the thousands and thousands of hours and specialist training that this rural sheriff's deputy from Tennessee was given in the 70s and 80s. Counter sniper, counter terrorist.
I don't know where he was a sheriff. I can't say.
Robertson County, something county. It's
okay.
It's not, but I don't know. For someone who doesn't like to talk about themselves, he spent 30 minutes telling his whole backstory.
He gave a lot of backstory. He did a lot of
unnecessary,
a lot of color to that story.
Now this is a guy from the LBL, right?
I don't mean to. I mean, this man is alive and well right now. I don't want to disparage. I'm just saying.
No, I have a hard time believing that.
I do too.
I mean, and I could tell. I could look him in the eye and say, "Dude, I have a hard time believing that." You know, if he were sitting across from here, I would tell him, "I have a hard time believing that," and I do have a hard time believing that. You know, and nothing against him. I mean, and he very well maybe
he's on the TikTok if anybody wants to look him up.
And that's like okay, so about the same time, the episode we did the other day about Doris Bither. And if Doris had told me I was assaulted by
where's his
these
buddy,
three demons?
His hunting buddy, the other guy? He's never come forward and said
no. But if Doris had sat across from me in a state of inebriation
or California, either state,
either, and told me that she was assaulted by this demon and the specifics and how she told that, I'd be like, I don't believe you. Now, when this cast iron skillet flew across the kitchen at me,
right?
I believe her then. Okay, you know that lends legitimacy to what you told me before. So now I have to consider this. But I don't have anything with what's his name.
All right.
So
I mean, I don't even know that I believe that he believes it. I have seen some other people who definitely are shook by their Dogman encounter. They saw something and it shook them to it.
And they believe that
they believe it.
It is true. But you know, that's. I don't want to say that it's not true that he didn't see it. He might have.
He might have. It might be. You know,
somebody could say the same thing for me. You know, because I saw a flying saucer. You know.
I don't know. People might believe that at this point since they've shown it on CNN and everything.
But no, I mean my whole life up until 2017, you know, when the government came out and said, "Oh yeah, they're real."
Yeah.
Or the ones you saw, you know, up until just recently, people might have gone, I don't know about that. You know, I might think you're a little bit loopy. I think Mike's loopy for thinking that.
People think some people have seen Bigfoot reports. There are thousands and thousands of people who have seen.
I mean, some people don't think ghosts are real.
They think if you told somebody you saw two legs walking across
it's surprising about like it's something around like 40% of 30 to 40%, somewhere around in there, Americans believe in ghosts and stuff.
If you told somebody, that you saw two legs walking around across a prisoner of war, a Civil War prisoner of war camp, and it was just the legs.
Oh, there's some people that are like, that's
oh, you're nuts.
Yeah, that's
you're absolutely nuts. But
there's a lot, like you're saying though, these Dogmen stories are much more rare.
Oh, much more rare.
They're getting more and more common lately, but I think that's an internet phenomenon.
I agree.
A fad. It's a fad.
Yeah, maybe.
People didn't know about it. Now that they've heard about Dogmen, now we're going to start seeing
I saw one too.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Do you think that maybe they've just kind of appeared? Maybe like you're talking about these portals or something that.
Well, no, because if you say that, then let's say that the Bray Road Beast is a Dogman.
Which that was a long time ago. I understand that, but I'm saying what if they went dormant and we're back? Like what happened to the Mayans and the Incans? Like we don't know what happened to them.
So these are like.
I can tell you, or at least the Incans were wiped out by the Spaniards.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, like some of those that like used to live out in. I know I'm reaching, but I'm just saying we used to have all of those little mud homes out in the hills, and all of a sudden they disappeared. We don't know where they went.
So it's so they're like a cicada. Is that what you're saying? A 7-year locust.
I'm just being,
and I'm not poking fun. I'm saying you're saying it could be like that. Is what you're saying?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But I don't think that's the thing too with this day and age with communication and internet and such.
But they can't even make a good fake video or photo. That's what's
that's sad.
I've never seen a good fake. Everyone I've seen is like, seriously, this is clearly a fake.
I watched one where the guy talked about the one that he saw, and this was in Ohio, and he said the closest thing he's ever seen to what this thing looked like that he saw was the werewolf in the Von Helsing movie. He said
the one with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it probably looked kind of like the ones in Underworld.
Said it was
movies.
Huge and muscular and the contorted growling face and all that.
People say that.
So that's what it looked like.
I showed you that picture of the Beast of Seven Shoots, and people will say, "Oh, that's a Dogman. That's just." But to me, that just looks like a Bigfoot with a
snout,
a googway, as they call it. The more baboon looking Bigfoots carrying what appears to be a dog that it snatched up from someone that's gonna go eat. But
well, that
didn't look fake. That looked real.
The one that was a very realistic looking photo, but that face, it did not look like a dog. It looked like a baboon to me.
Yeah, it looked like a baboon. But then people who say, "Oh, that's
a dog man."
Yeah.
Well. So
maybe it's Googway that they're seeing.
Maybe
it's the long snouted Sasquatches, because that photo was shitty enough to really look real. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
look real.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you mean, because when a photo is shitty, as John put it,
it was an accident. It was in the corner of a much larger picture,
right?
And people go back and retaken the much larger picture in the exact same spot, and it's not pareidoia. There's nothing down in that corner that's caused. There was something there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even, it was one of those, they didn't even see it until they went back later.
I come sooner to believing that what people are seeing is like a Bigfoot that has a more pronounced snout kind of facial feature, like a baboon. Mm-hmm. I would come more to believe in that.
Do you think that his butt looks all red and swollen like a baboon's ass?
Only when he's in heat.
But you have to admit that the pictures and like the description of a dog man is very different. It's very much more of a werewolf lycanthrope look as opposed to a big burly gorilla looking Bigfoot.
They're describing something they saw in a Hollywood movie.
Okay,
is that because that's the only thing you know how to describe it towards?
What they actually saw was a Bigfoot that had the more pronounced snout kind of feature, like a baboon. And because of the fear, because it was dark, because, it was chasing them through the woods and they only got a glimpse of it, maybe that's what they thought they saw.
Or a black bear with a snout, which is what they have in the dark at night, and you're scared.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's more likely to be mistaken for a dog, just because it has an actual snout than a Sasquatch.
Yeah,
because we all believe Sasquatch is real. So
sure,
but that makes more sense. You're freaked out. You keep hearing something circling around you. You catch a glimpse of it. You see that snout.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say because I've never been in that situation.
I really want to see Bigfoot though.
Oh yeah, I want to see one of these dogmen.
I don't think I ever will though, because I don't think dogmen are real.
Well, we may never see a Bigfoot either because we don't spend enough time out.
That's true too.
Go Bigfoot hunting.
You're not going to see him here in the city.
Yeah, he didn't come knocking on the door.
He didn't come hanging around the suburbs.
Can you imagine?
But do they even know how to go
from Harry and the Henderson jogging
track
around
down a dog man? Because there's all these Sasquatchers and all of that.
Doing the searching, but it's the exact same stuff you would do to look for
Bigfoot.
And there was definitely that one I watched. Man, there was something in moving the tops of those trees, but it almost looked more like what you would see if there was a large ape in the tops of moving around in the tops of the trees, because it was the bushes of the trees that were shaking like something was moving through it.
That's crazy.
I also saw some drone footage from the Daniel Boone also that was something was moving through the woods.
And you could see it?
You could see it shaking the tops of the tree as it moved, like if you're, like you'd see something from a movie, like what's that monster coming that's moving the trees.
That's always creepy when they do the movies and they show the corn. And there's this one guy who tells a story about a dog man, and he's running.
Running?
Yeah, he's running. And he started noticing that there was something in the corn off to the left of him, and
awful.
It's running
that
too.
That was the children.
That's the children. Yeah, that's...
No.
That's terrifying.
And it gets...
What was his name? Jacob?
So he's like, okay, there's something there. He's a high school track kid.
He's walking.
Huh?
He's on foot.
Yeah, he's on foot.
He's not driving past the corner.
No. And anyway, he's in high school training for some track meet or something like that, and he's out running. And he notices that, okay, this thing is right beside me, so he keeps his pace, and he just keeps watching it. And he doesn't have any idea what it is. And it gets to I am obsessed with hitting my boom stand tonight. I don't know why.
You're making it. Yeah,
boom, I am. So you hear the spring ding, But no, anyway, he gets to he notices that the corn stops at this place, and he stops right at the edge of the corn, and this thing steps out on 2 feet, and it's a dog man that steps out like that. And I'm like, so he takes off running, runs. His friend lived very nearby, and he just takes off running, and this thing was chasing him all the way to his friend's yard, and he dives into the pool.
Could probably outrun him. If it wanted to eat him, it would have eaten him.
I would think, anything as badass looking as a dog man surely can chase you down and eat you.
Yeah,
I would think. I mean, I don't know, but I would think you could.
I would imagine so. That's why you can't find any. It is
because there is no evidence to be found.
Government covering it up. Okay.
No,
well, that's the easy way out. That's of that question.
I just feel like this is way more new.
It is.
I know Bray Road Beast is older than this year.
There are old stories of these here. Interestingly enough, in the Dogman Triangle of Texas, there's the Converse werewolf, which would have gone back to right after the Civil War. There's an oral history of.
I remember that.
The guy gives a gun to his son. It's time to be a man. You got to go out and hunt and bring him back a deer. And then when he doesn't come back, it's in the party out after him, and they come upon this supposed 8 foot tall, half man, half wolf thing covered in black fur that's in there eating his son.
Yeah, and
they shoot at it and stuff, and that was which is now just it's Randolph Air Force Base. It's right out. It's suburbs of San Antonio now.
Yeah,
and that's been passed down in oral history.
Right. Well, and that's the same thing.
There was nothing in the San Antonio newspaper.
That's the same thing about
during that time period.
That I'm saying about LBL is this is one of those stories that started out as a really good campfire story, and it's morphed and changed and passed on from father to son, until the point that they forgot where it came from and became true, And
I've seen them, in Kentucky, in here, but, well, look at this track. Look at this giant is that a cane? I mean, that looks to me, I've seen some that look more like panther tracks, cougar tracks, which would make sense here or in Kentucky.
I will say that there are reports of dogmen in the UK too. It's not just America.
Oh, really?
So I wanted to make that a point, that it's not just here in the contiguous United States. Like, they're in Canada, but there's also some in UK, and so...
You did say Canadian.
I did say Canadian. I like saying Canadian. It's like a pet name for Canada. Well, they're Canadians. It should be Canadian.
Yeah, why they should have called it that to begin with. Canadian.
Okay, so you're the bigger probably skeptic
of everything.
John, than John and us a lot of times. So, what's your take on it? Are they real or
I don't know. I don't know. I think I would really have to. I mean, I'm not trying to say these people didn't see what they saw. However,
it's hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, I mean, nothing has been caught about dogmen. Like, no one's doing stories about dogmen. Like,
I mean, some of the news are and stuff just for when you're slow on stories.
Which has been recent. But I'm saying, like, any of these shows that you watch, we watch all these ghost shows, podcasts.
Oh, there's plenty of stuff where people looking for dogmen and stuff or talking about
but I'm saying, but Bigfoot, they're all over the place too because they've seen things in these casts, like you're saying, in the hair. But dogmen, I don't know. I'd do some more research, especially like in the UK. That'd be very interesting to me just to see, because they're like, oh, dogmen are in the UK, and it's like, are they though?
Right, they're in the UK just like they're here.
Like, I mean,
probably the same kind of fake photos and stuff. All right, what did we drink tonight?
Lalo.
Lalo.
Do we like it?
We do.
It is good.
I love Lalo.
I like the price point of it for how it tastes, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's got it's quite similar to some of these recent ones that we've had.
I'm going to say that Lalo is very much like
Fortaleza.
Like a really good watch that's not expensive, and it punches above its price point.
100% would drink this over the Fortaleza for the price, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say that Lalo punches above its price point.
Yes, it's very good.
For sure.
Love it. And it's got a fun little bottle. It's not... I mean, you could stick some bourbon in that and it wouldn't look out of place.
I like it.
Just, it's not as...
It even gives you instructions on the side of it of how to drink it.
I love that. I mean, it also told you, now take another sip.
It says...
And how to taste it.
Yeah, they are kind of bossy, aren't they?
They're a little bossy in here.
Inhale, sip, exhale.
I love that, though.
Yeah, it's pretty
Teaching
funny.
people how not to mix their stuff. But you know what I mean? It's a little less indigenous bottling and stuff, like compared to some of these other brands. I like it. Very streamlined.
What did we decide?
I've decided
Dogman, I'm more skeptical of that than any other thing that...
Any other supernatural thing?
I think, here's what I think. When I hit one with the car,
When I see one, then I'll believe it.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
But until then, it seems like horseshit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Absolutely.
Dog shit.
This is not
doggy poo-poo.
This is not doggy poo-poo. This is very good. This is Lalo. And we think that Dogman is, until we see one, we don't believe
TBD.
I mean, I'm sure that the people believe they saw what they saw.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Maybe not all of them, but and let's say that. But I think that 90% nonsense, and then maybe of the remaining 10%, you've got some misidentifications of black bear or possibly Sasquatch in some of these areas.
Right.
And then maybe there's 2% that I don't know what it was. So who knows? Anything could be out there.
Well,
go check us out on all the things.
Yeah, go subscribe. We need you to subscribe to us. Feed the YouTube monster. Good night, everyone.
Nighty night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
bye.
So that went okay. I just have a hard time after I've had a hard time with him since I
I wouldn't mind doing further research on the ones in the UK, but to me, when you States.